Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary. It's time for the podcaster where the phrase, the dance craze and the phrase spree fever started. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And if that doesn't confuse, you, anyway, welcome. Thank you, everyone who's sharing the podcast in their podcasting app on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter and do that too, it's at Dear Scooter. And if you're lying there wondering, hey, what's a good way to help out the podcast that's really easy and where I can answer some questions about myself, I'd say, hey, well, it's time to take a survey. We're doing a survey over at sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey. I don't even have the slightest idea how to spell survey, so I'll put the common misspellings in there and they'll all end misspellings. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey. And if you can take a few minutes out of your time to answer the survey questions there, that's where we get to know who's listening to this podcast and, what are your likes and dislikes and all that kind of stuff as we keep trying to develop the podcast and keep making it for you 12 times a month. If you can go over to sleepwithmepodcast.com and fill out this. Mystery Bird, you got a song about sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey?
Fill out a survey. Tell us about yourself. It's the best way for us to make sure we know all about the kinds of advertisers that make the most sense. So Scoots can keep the show going for many years hence. Fill out a survey. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey. We got questions we want to ask.
So that's it. If you can go over to sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey, fill out the survey. Just take a few minutes of your time. It'd be a huge help. Housekeeping, I want to thank, housekeeping, we're on the web, www.sleepwithmepodcast.com. Older episodes there. You can comment on our website. You can get me on Twitter at Dear Scooter. On Facebook at sleepwithmepodcast.com. That's right, a live stream. I want to thank Chris Posterson from Sounds Like an Earful, who does our theme music. The legend Carl W., who edited this episode. He does edit this episode. I think I just said it does edit this episode. I want to thank Jonathan Mann, who's on our lullabies. You can catch him at jonathanmann.net. I want to thank Scotty and Jennifer on our artwork. I want to thank all the patrons that support the show on a monthly basis at sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron, PATRON. Yeah, getting ready for the 2016 time capsule there. Listeners have a Facebook group over at sleepwithmepodcast.com/nods, NODS. I want to thank Julie and Jennifer, Laura and Lida, and Summer and Sarah over there who are moderates. And I want to suggest another podcast, the One You Feed podcast. I literally just got off the phone to Eric, one of the nicest people on earth. He hosts and does the interviews over at the One You Feed podcast. And at some point down the road, I'll be a guest on that show, but we should go over there and subscribe right now and give it a listen. And it's a podcast about a lot of stuff, but it's about people trying to find their way in life and how they do it creatively. And just listen to the One You Feed podcast. So go over there, get on iTunes or your podcatcher, and subscribe to the One You Feed. And that's it. Let's get on with the show. Hey, one-night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to do is try to create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's been keeping you awake, whether it's thinking, feeling, sensing, physical stuff, emotional things, outside noises, changes in routine, or just, I believe it or not, I'm experiencing this like a vague sense of unease. or unspecified stress. You could say it's called stress or nerves or whatever it is you refer to it as, or something totally different that's keeping you up, like just a tapping or a rapping. Or, I was at my brother's place, speaking of kittens. You say, well, no one spoke of kittens, Scoots. I say, well, I did. My brother's got himself, him and his girlfriend Judy have a couple of kittens. And they love paper, these two kittens. They didn't have any wrapping paper, but they had craft paper. And these kittens, they just, I think I talked about this before. What happens when you go from being a kitten to a cat? Like, what's a toddler version of a kitten? I would say, you'd say it's just a kitten, but they say that's, these are like beyond toddler, because these kittens could move, but they like paper. They're paper-loving kittens. And to be honest, it upped my opinion of craft paper or whatever you call it, like butcher paper. They said, oh boy, I like this paper. I like when you kittens play with the paper. I'm allergic to you, so play with it over there. Which that's a good thing about cats. And for the most part, they say, yeah, fine, we don't have any interest in you anyway. We're busy with this paper. It's great. So they would, dive into the paper. There's different wrapped boxes they would climb into and poke out of holes. And, and then one of them would try to take a nap in the paper. Then the other one would try to climb, and they'd go, goo. Oh, look at those two. When you do like the kitten stuff. And they'd run around and run back to, do some paper batting at the paper fighting, paper ripping, paper tackling, paper ball striking. Oh, kittens and paper. Don't get me started. Holy mackerel. What a dream come true. Until I said, I got to get out. He said, okay, that's enough with the kittens. I need to get back to the podcast. But sometimes I don't know what my point was. I think I thought I had a point in there. Oh, what does a vague sense of unease have to do with kittens? I don't know. You know what cures a vague sense of unease? Kittens playing with paper for a time. But it could be like your brain does that. For me, at least, I can't say but your brain may at bedtime be like those kittens with the paper. And you say, no, it's not time to play with the paper, brain. I'm trying to go to bed. And then your brain actually isn't a kitten. So it says, oh, no, it's disguised as kitten. Writing a list of all your personality, the things that needed to be improved with your personality here in this paper. I wasn't playing with it. I knew you would give me your attention. So I just dressed up as a kitten, started writing. Oh, that's great. What's this other kitten doing over here? Oh, hey, actually, my name is Vague Unease. I'm not a kitten either. I'm just I'm a part of I'm not sure if I'm a part of your limbic system. That's why that's why it's better off if you see me dressed as a kitten. Yeah, I was just here pulling on some stuff on you because, I was thinking about some stuff you did a long time ago and in the future. So I figured I'd pull on some. Are you pulling on my heartstrings? And then that part of the limbic cat. I don't know what I'm pulling. I just pull on this stuff and then it works. Oh, it works out because believe it or not, you two are pretending to play with, be kittens and pretending to play with paper, which are really messing up my sleep. I'm trying to go to sleep. I don't really need you pulling on anything. I think that green one is my heartstring that you're pulling on, and I don't like. Can you just not pull on it? Well, I'm dressed as a cat. I'm not pulling on it. I'm batting it. Okay, please don't bat my heartstrings. And that one's related to my gut. And I think what do they call this? So they say there's something with an S, like somatic. These are the somatic strings you're pulling. Oh, wait, what are you saying? Have I been reading the DSVM-5 again? Maybe, but believe it or not, there's nothing in any of the DSVMs about emotional, whatever brain things disguised as kittens playing with paper, but really you're still writing a list. I'm trying to talk to you. I got to go to bed. I don't know why you two would climb out of my brain into my bed dressed as kittens. Well, the first, you want to ask me a question? Why do I have craft paper boxes in my bed? Oh boy, this is embarrassing. I'll tell you what, if you leave me alone, I'll tell you what I'm doing with the craft paper boxes in my bed. If you promise not to, like, if you stop making your list and you stop pulling on my somatic somatic strings. Yeah, it's embarrassing for sure. So promise, and then I'll go to sleep. Well, I was going to just sleep like a kitten tonight. So I figured instead of a regular bed, I would put my feet in this box, wrap it up with craft paper. I'm going to put my arm in this other box over here. So actually, yeah, I'm going to pretend I'm a kitten too. So I guess that's one way we do, like, adapt to things. You two, tried to do the old kitten, faux kitten thing to trick me so you could give me some speeches at bedtime. And I decided to, after playing with the kittens, well, I didn't play with them. I watched them play. How does kittens get away with it? Well, did you go play with the cats? Well, no, I watched them play without me. Kind of like, it reminds me of childhood a bit, but they didn't want to play with me. They chose, they're like those reindeers. They chose not to choose. I think cats do parallel play. Sometimes they do cooperative play. More competitive. I don't know if they do any cooperative play. I don't know. The cats within me, they're not cats at all, but, they're wolves in cats' clothing. But anyway, brain part and somatic string puller, I was just going to get in bed here with this craft paper. And, I was going to crinkle it. I was going to try a new form of self-comforting, crinkling craft paper. It's going to disturb my neighbors. You're probably right about that. So maybe I just won't. I think I'll keep my foot in this box, though. It kind of feels cool. Though I do have the urge to shake my leg, and then the box would shake on it. So maybe I shouldn't have put boxes with craft paper in my bed. You're right about that. Well, there we go. We solved one of my problems. Good teamwork. You didn't need to yank on those heartstrings or those other ones. And it looks like your list of parts of my personality or whatever that, need improvement, that was on the craft paper. I'm going to just push all the craft paper off my bed. And unfortunately for you two, I'm actually not in bed. This is a podcast intro. So talk about a cat and cat's clothing. Or not a cat, and cat not, just in its fur. Not dressed as cat. No, dressed as a cat, but not as a cat, dressed cat. Because there's people that dress their cats, and there's cats that are just, never mind, forget that one. I got mixed up. Now I'm picturing a cat in galoshes with a muffler and a raincoat for some reason in my brain. You both see that? Yeah. It should be a book, Cat in Galoshes. There's Puss in Boots. What about cat in galoshes? Does anybody use galoshes? I think galoshes went out of fashion before I was born. But it was still probably on a vocabulary test, and it was probably on a spelling test that I got wrong. Galoshes. 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 My galoshes are full of rainwater because I wasn't wearing pants outside. Galoshes. Can you tell me the origin? Yeah, some obscure part of my brain, left a holdover from the years when galoshes was used regularly in a common parlance. Galoshes. Sorry, my Myers-Briggs crashed with my, Scripps something. I forget what Scripps is. Myers-Briggs and Scripps-Briggs. I don't know, but they had a collision within my brain. Anyway, if you're new here, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night to take your mind off stuff. That was a little unintentional example. And I can guess, like, you're maybe picturing kittens and craft paper, which ideally is what this podcast does for you. Offers a little bit of a kitten-like distraction, but not with the kitten-like engagement where you say, well, I can't miss what these kittens are going to do next. I can't go, I can't possibly go to bed. I'll just cut to the part 4 minutes after the kittens go to sleep where you look at them sleeping and then you say, well, okay, it was cute for 4 minutes. But you won't have to think about all the other stuff. Or if you have mechanisms in place like I do with those things, that it can take your mind off stuff. Maybe make you look like dread bedtime a little less or look forward to it. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to set up the story here. It's, like to catch you up on the story. Then I'm going to tell, what is it, an episodic series, Nuns in Space. So we'll have an episode of that. And I'll be here for like an hour. So if you can't sleep, I'll be here the whole time. If it takes you a little while to fall asleep, I'll be here the whole time too. I'll be giving it my all, like those kittens with the paper. But you don't need to listen, intently. You don't need to feel pressure to fall asleep. It's just like a bedtime story for grown-ups. If you're new here, you're skeptical. This podcast doesn't work for everybody. I hope it helps you out. Give it a few tries. But I guess that's all I can say. I'm glad you're here, and I really hope I really learned to help you fall asleep. Thanks for stopping by. Before we get to the episode here, if you could do us a huge favor and take our survey over at sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey. Just give us a few minutes of your time and answer some questions. It'd be a huge help for the show. Thanks so much. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/survey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Nuns in Space. And thanks to our listener, Anthony. He let me know it's not, he actually for me, this is an episodic series, not a procedural series. And that's actually the word that I was looking for, but I didn't even know, episodic, like Star Trek The Next Generation. To quote Anthony, and thank you, Anthony, for your kindness reaching out to me. I think the word you're looking for is episodic, not procedural. Procedural shows are ones that focus on a process or procedure, which makes sense if it's called procedural. That repeats within each episode, like Law and Order, CSI. The fact that episodes are therefore self-contained is a byproduct of the format. Where, yeah, this is episodic, but not serialized. So I'll need Anthony's help with that, but I'm just going to go with that because I know they say, oh, Star Trek's an episodic series. I know that's correct. So this is an episodic series, meaning you can start wherever you want. Here's the details you need to know. If this is your first episode of Nuns in Space, Scoots is the hero. He's the quartermaster of the ship, which is, again, I'm not in the, I don't know the parlance, but he's in charge. He's our he's like a hero. And his best friend is Stan, a freestyle soda machine and software interface. And, his main ally on the ship. The rest of the crew of the ship are nuns from Scooter's childhood. And you might say, well, how's that possible? I say, well, you could listen to the pilot. It explains it. But if you just take it at face value, that's how it is for Scooter. Face value. These are the nuns from his childhood. They're on a spaceship called the Monte Carmelo. They're deep in outer space in search of another ship or what is on the ship. The ship is called the Natchez. And they're following the strings of delusion through the universe because Scooter, our hero, is attuned to the delusions in the universe. And, it's episodic, though. So there's the thing. They're always looking for this Natchez. And so I think that's it. Like they're in space. It was very similar to like it's not as good as Star Trek: The Next Generation. I would say it's not as shiny as Star Trek: The Next Generation, but not as like spaghetti western style as Firefly. Or it's not cool as either one, but it's its own thing. Nuns in space, and then I have somebody again who is late. No worries. I know the Brangelina thing is getting... Okay, my friend. I apologize. You apologize, Anthony? This is, how'd you forget my name? Antonio Banderas. How did I forget? Ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls, the friends beyond the binary. Welcome to another episode of the Nuns in a space. How do you do that effect? I'd love to do that effect. It's a trade secret, my friend. How do you do that thing where you talk, but it's like a whisper? How do you do that with your teeth? How do you make your teeth? My friend, that's all I can do. I have to get back to Los Angeles. Even when you say lost. Okay, thanks. Nuns in space, everybody. Dear pen pal, it's me, your pen pal. You might say, is there something different about my pen pal's tone or voice, or is it something about the actual recording that's different? I'd say, good question, pen pal. It is. You're so perceptive, pen pal. One of the reasons you're my most trusted ally, and also probably because you don't know me. I mean, right, but anyway, pen pal, you're a great question. Normally I record into my pin that you use to communicate with the rest of the ship, but it goes and gets recorded on the ship's, my pin only is the microphone, but it gets recorded on the ship's hardware and storage systems. Right now I'm recording locally with the memory built into the pin. And then, ideally, pen pal, you'll get this. You won't know the difference, but I may start encrypting our messages. And you'd say, well, that's a big word for you, pen. And I'd say, well, I think you probably know what that means. Now, I don't know if you live in a post-privacy world, pen pal. But I don't see how you could have letters to pen pal, like without, without a privacy. I don't see how you could have pen pal without pen pal and privacy perfect together. And there's a difference between privacy and a secret, pen pal. There's just a general sense that we have our space to talk about what we're going to talk about, and nobody's going to butt in. And, Badinsky, they called it before I was born. They used to use that term. But I don't need to talk in riddles right now, pen pal, because I'm talking straight to you, is that I noticed some of the sound files were moved around, and I'm suspecting the nuns are listening into my letters to you to try to find, because it's none of their business, not just because they want to, but because, maybe they'll use it, because I don't think they'd be interested. And then I'm like, how much bad stuff did I say? Because haven't listened to any of the recordings myself. I tried once, but I said, wow. This was one I think I deleted where I was just talking about something I was craving. And I said, my pen pal doesn't need to hear that. But so I think plus they've been extra, their brows have been doubly furrowed. If you catch my drift, I'm being literal too. So I think they're listening to my recordings. And we used to call that, again, I don't know if they have spies, if that rings a bell to you, pen pal. But there used to be this cool thing called a spy. I don't think there's a way I can culturally anchor this, though, for you. But maybe you have some sort of game based on spies where you'd sneak around. Not I Spy. It's nothing like that, just in case you're thinking I Spy. But you, would hide out. Yeah, I don't think I can describe it in a way that it has any... Because I don't know where you're listening either. So if you're listening, you say, well, I'm living inside an 80s sitcom, Scooter. I know exactly what you're talking about at all times. And then I would say, oh, wow. But then I would say, well, that doesn't do me any good. I might as well just record these for myself. So anyway, pen pal, that's why I'm recording locally. It's because the nuns are listening in. They're tapping my phone. Again, they're listening in, just like I'm sure you have eavesdropping. Is it eavesdropping, like Eve is dropping something, or is it eaves? It's eaves, like under the eaves of a house. I don't know. But so the nuns are listening into these. So I decided to record this one locally. Then I'm going to download. I don't know if I'm actually, Stan's trying to get my attention, but I'm ignoring Stan. Because he can't hear. Oh, that probably. I wonder if Stan. Let me check. Well, let me finish up, pen pal. So yeah, I'll probably have to. I don't know if I'll. I don't know if you'll get this one because I don't know. Hopefully, I have the gumption to download it onto the computer, then encrypt it. Or I don't think I can encrypt it on the pin because I don't even see any buttons on this thing. And Stan can, I think Stan can hear me. I thought I opened The kids, pen pal, I love technology, but I just, some of it escapes me sometimes. But let me see here. Stan, you've been listening in the whole time. Are you plugged in with me and my pen pal? Scooter, I am. Okay, Stan, I need you to open a secure line with me and my pen pal and you. Scooter, this is a local line. It's secure. No, it's, you think it's secure, Stan, but could someone be listening into this? Scooter, they could be listening into this. Is that, well, that's why I said run a secure line. Scooter, I can hear you on my local speaker, and then your pin's not broadcasting, so it is a secure line. Okay, then, but people could be listening in some other way. Scooter, I've shut off all the speakers in the room, so it's a secure. We're secure. All right, Stan, I need you to run a trace, and I need you to start encrypting all my communication with my pen pal, but in a way that, use some sort of something, if multiple things in my body, not, they could each individual, use my fingerprints or something, because I'm not going to remember any codes. And, something other than my iris, fingerprints or my iris, or, something else. Scooter, what is run a, can you explain to me what run a trace is, or I could explain to you what I understand it to be? It's pretty simple, saying the nuns are listening into my letters to my pen pal, and I need you to trace it, I need you to run a trace. Scooter, okay, run a trace to where? To figure out if they're all in it together, or if one of the nuns has gone double sour on me and what they are cooking up. Okay, Scooter. Now, what leads you to believe they're listening into your letters to your pen pal? Because some of the files were moved around, I noticed. And they also, have you noticed how furrowed their brows are? Scooter, I guess so. So you say the files are, which specific files were moved? The files I'm recording for my pen pal, Stan. I went in there and I looked, and some of them had been moved around within the folder I had them in. Scooter, are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Of course, it makes sense. I mean, I wasn't sure until the double brow. I said, why are the brows so furrowed? I mean, I didn't see that. My gut sensed this. It'll be like that. And then I said, I have to lie down and curl up for a minute. And then I fell asleep and I had a dream about it. And then I said, oh, goodness. I had recorded something else, a romantic thing. Scooter. No, don't ask me about it. It's an order. Fiction, erotic knock fiction. Okay, there you go. Okay, Stan, it's a new hobby of mine. And I said, I hope that's not in my pen pal's folder. And I went in there and it wasn't. And then I said, well, that's weird. Stuff looks like it was moved around. Scooter, so it was moved around. Yeah, because usually I just, I thought they got rid of all that settings, but because I hadn't sorted it. It was sorted in a different way. Okay, Scooter. Are you sure? You're sure about this? Stan, do you keep repeatedly asking me because you're trying to see if I'm sure, you doubt me? Scooter, I'm just trying to figure out how I run a trace on it if you were the only person that's accessed the folder. Okay, well, as me, someone accessed the folder as me, Stan. Okay, Scooter, so how should we proceed? Run a trace. I need you to run a trace because, use the shipboard cameras and the location stuff and all the timestamps. You and the computer could do that, right? Yes, Scooter, but if I involve the computer, then that would be, you wanted me to use a secure line. The computer, that could be leaked information. Just give the computer some other variables so the computer doesn't know. Okay, Scooter, there's one other thing is we're using a lot of processing power for your other project. Is that what you're really concerned about? Yeah, it is, Stan. So, Stan, this is a secure line. You're sure there's no one running a trace? I think I was supposed to run it. Did I tell you to run a trace or run a tap? Scooter, why don't you explain to your pen pal what you're concerned about? Thanks, Stan. That's a great idea. It's a secure room. Scooter, it is, but you do have a staff briefing in a little while because if you're planning. Okay, hey, pen pal. So it's me. Ideally, this will be encrypted. So because it's Stan, I don't want to. That's why I was whispering into your speaker. Scooter, yeah, my speaker and my microphone are two different things. Also, I have auto gain. I can hear you. Yeah, but I didn't want anyone reading my lips. Okay, pen pal. I guess Stan, no one's going to read my lips on this. Scooter, no one's watching what you're doing that you know about. Okay, Scooter, why don't you cover your lips while you talk? Okay, so anyway, pen pal, I'm covering my lips like when I'm talking now. Good idea, Stan. No problem, Scooter. Okay, this is why I might sound nervous. I discovered something and the nuns don't know about it, and I'm not keeping it from them because I'm in charge of the ship and I make the decisions. But not that long ago, I get this like trace of delusion, and we're on the border of this asteroid belt, but it was like a really low time, and the nuns they all had other stuff going on. And it was uncharted asteroid belts, and I said, well, I'll take I said, well, I'm going to take a spin around it, and then they said, why? And I said, don't you remember I used to talk about the game Parsec on 22? And then they said, make sure you don't run into any asteroids. And I said, don't worry, I'm just circling the asteroid belts. It's a very small belt. So you would say maybe not even an asteroid belt because it's not around a planet. It's in the far gravity of a planet, though. That's why it's pretty much staying still. And darker, but so pen pal, I discovered these asteroids are made because no one scanned. I guess everybody I don't know. These asteroids have been missed, and I guess because we're not like a mining ship, these asteroids are incredibly valuable, pen pal. And the reason I notice them is because they actually are made of this very rare element. That's what we'd call them on Earth. It's space, I don't even know what the heck they call it, but it's made of this very rare stuff. They don't even have it on Earth, but it's what's Gartox material. Remember that Gartox device I actually throw out of the back of the ship? These asteroids are made from what that was made from. And it's incredibly, incredibly rare, pen pal. Like, so rare. Like, I guess really rare. And so I charted it, and that is encrypted within Stan, hard whatever, right, Stan? Scooter, it is. It's saved to a chip in my memory. Okay, so it's saved to a chip in Stan's memory, and we've moved on, and we're heading to a space station to meet an old friend of mine. Because okay, pen pal, this is not unethical at all. Just so hold your horses. I don't think I need to justify it. So there's pretty clear rules about if you find stuff on a ship, how everybody gets their portions, just like all throughout history. And so I've marked where this is, and I'm going to go to the space station where it just happens to have an old friend who works at the space station, and they have some mining contacts. And he's going to file a claim for it, and it'll go on to this market exchange, and it'll be pretty sold instantly. It'll be like an auction. He will take a finder's fee, pretty decent finder's fee, and then the rest of the money will be split between me and the nuns, and I'll get a bigger cut because I'm in charge, and I was the one that found it. And all that's already determined, and it'll go for market price. And also, the nuns will get an obscene amount of money. And also my money, pen pal, I don't really need it. So So my money, I don't really need it that much. I'm going to pay for that stupid dessert thing, even though and actually, well, I'm not going to lie. I told my friend, open a competitor with the dessert planets and, just leave me out of just invest my money in it. But I don't want the nuns to know about it because I feel like if they got the money, then they'd want to hire, like I say, I'm going to tell them about it, and then they could make a decision, I got to figure out how to get out of this. So I figure once they know about the money, and also, believe it or not, you retain the rights, we get some of this stuff, or that's what I told my friend. I said, don't sell it all. I said they could use this, and they can hire scientists, and they won't need me anymore. So that's a good news, pen pal. I don't think it's going to be an instant fix because obviously, unfortunately, this will have to be. It'll take a little while, but I will have an exit strategy for this stupid ship, and my money will be going to fix some other problems that I've caused in the past, like right some wrongs and that kind of stuff. Because I don't, whatever, not important where my money's going. And also to put that dessert planet out of business and some other stuff that not 10% used for resentments and 90% for good and whatever that's called, fixing stuff. But so then the nuns, then everything's going to be great. And then I'll be able to get out of doing this because they said, geez, you could get some scientists and figure, I wish we had Gartok's machine. But anyway, I got to go to this briefing, pen pal. So again, it's not unethical. It's just that if I tell them now, they're going to want to, I'm in charge. I guess that's what it is. I guess I'm questioning my own leadership because I'm not used to, pen pal. But I think I'm making a decision that's best for everybody on the ship. And actually, they don't have a say anyway. Because that one other mission with the flowers, that was when they restricted, I said there's going to be some rule changes on the ship. And that's when I had to, if there's no battle, you have, I'm 100%. Anyway, that's not important. That was important to them because I said, well, geez, I could let these flowers, whatever. I think the flowers were going to put their stains. I don't know. It was not. Anyway, pen pal, I got to go to this briefing. And I got to put Stan on the forklift or whatever you call it, the dolly. Scooter, you're the best dollier still. Thanks, Stan. Okay, so we'll be back. I'll be back and talk to you in a second, pen pal. Hey, pen pal, it's me. I'm on the bridge with the nuns. So good to talk to you. It's been so long. I can't update you on it. The strangest thing, pen pal, we're being followed. Talk about intrigue. I don't know if they have that. I told the nuns to turn off our headlights, and no one got that, pen pal. You probably didn't either. But maybe you like old movies, and it was Sister Mary Ellen that picked it up. There's a ship following us. And they're just within sensor range enough for us to know that there's a humanoid on there. It's not some probe droid or something. But they're following us, and we can't really tell too much about it, but we tried to do some things. And, it made a lot of sense, because I had sensed this earlier, but other people on board don't agree with my moves to go. I said, well, let me go through this asteroid belt because my gut's going off, telling me something strange. But then there was a furrowing of the brows, pen pal, but now it turns out we are being followed. And Stan's also noting, pen pal, that paranoia sometimes isn't paranoia if you're right. So we're being followed. And I didn't question Sister Mary Ellen because you had the data. Okay, well, the cool thing about the Monte Carmelo is a pen pal. You might not have the Monte Carmelo has real optics, and so good job, builder of Monte Carmelo. Oh, Sister Bernice is a big fan of optics. Optics are glass. Like, so we were able to actually, we don't need any electronic interference or anything. Let's see, what is optics? Binoculars, lenses. I'm sure they still have lenses, pen pal. It's pieces of glass used to magnify or focus. You must have them. Lenses, they call them. Or on the ship, they call them optics because they're fancy. Really good glass that it's noted. That the sister said, and somehow I haven't scratched it or broke it. And I said, yep, keep it away. I said, because it's contained in an armored housing. And I don't know where on the ship because I said if I did, I would go put my eye up to it, which you can do, but we're looking at it through a camera, pen pal, and there's a ship following us. It's as clear as can be. It's pretty cool. It's another subject, but it is nice to look at stuff through the optics. And I've looked at it through some people who'll be named nameless and had some nice quiet moments. But pen pal, we need a plan to catch this spy who's spying on us. We don't know that, but we need a plan. And it just so happens that I just when I was going to call you, pen pal, I realized that not too far away is a charted space station where a good friend of mine, old Ordnall, Oddnall, sorry, he's a good friend though, good friend. I hope I didn't call him Ordnall when I called him. What's that? Oh, he said, well, I hope I didn't, because I already contacted him and let him know I was in the area. And you can call him, you could call him Oddball or Oddball. That's what I call him. I guess I call him Ordinal. But anyway, there's a good friend of mine who was at a space station nearby. He happens to be, so this works. What kind of space? A station in space, a space station. What kind of work does he do? Could be, I don't know, because I haven't talked, like, it just came up, like, in the location aware thing, said, hey, Adnals. Now, you know, those many light years over there. So why would I enable social media on a ship? Because I'm trying to track out. Don't you think I know where there's no delusion with Oddball, you know, old friend. You know, we had our delusional years together. But was somebody talking about a plan, or was that just me, pen pal? Yeah, it was me. I was saying we could go there and set a course, direct course, because we've been staying and we're going to land at a space station, and we're going to leave. There's no reason for us to know the ship following us that knows we have optics and that knows we've spotted it. Because they're pretty far on the edge of sensor range and they got some interference going. And so we'll land at the space station. We'll meet up with Adnal, old friends, new friends, and the trap will be set. And then we'll catch the person because they'll land and we'll know it's that's the extent of the trap. No. I have a further plan. Okay, what were you saying? Oh, the ship started following us right around the time I drove through right when I went through that asteroid belt, because that's when my gut told me to go through that asteroid belt. None of you were interested in my parsec, reliving parsec. TI 99-4A, remember that, sister? But so that's it, pen pal. We're going to land, and then we'll leave the ship. It's as simple as this. We're going to go meet Oddball. We'll go meet Oddball at a pub, or whatever the space station. Now, don't worry, sisters. I can't imbibe, but you can if you wish, but you can't because we'll pretend we're partying. I don't know, we'll leave the ship unlocked and then the door will close behind them and lock them in. That could be accomplished, right, Stan? Scooter, if I'm on the ship, that could be accomplished with the ship's computer. Okay, so that's what we'll do, and then we'll come get them. And they'll probably check first before they go on the ship to make sure we're all at the pub. So then we'll see, we'll see, they'll see us having a good time, and we'll all be pretending to be smashed, pretending sisters, Like one or two of you could do, no, probably not. So that's it. So that's the plan. Let's set a course, and let's pen pal be back. Because, just in case any brow for, anyway, okay, pen pal. Hey, pen pal, it's me. I'm in the restroom. It's a single one, so don't worry, but I can't, so I can't talk too long. So worlds collided, no, figuratively, sorry, pen pal, because we're on a space station anyway. I guess I thought about this originally before the whole, before the whole person, I forgot to tell you, I was worried about going to, not only was I tricking the sisters, but also I didn't want them to meet my friend, Oddball, because I don't like when worlds collide, it just caused me anxiety. Thinking about my friend acting like a goofball and telling old stories about me in the meeting with the sisters, and them seeing another side of me, and then him saying, wait a second, you're a quartermaster. You're more of an eighth master, 16th, there's no 16th, and then, just your old friend, it's a very common thing, I think, not wanting, your oil and your water to blend, because I'm not eating salad. I'm trying to be a good commander. But the worlds have collided, because they're really they're drinking this fake drink, no alcohol. Because Oddball had it all set up. And then they said, well, what are we here to celebrate? And they said, well, I got it. My friend, of course, said, well, don't you want to tell them big news? And we'll do a countdown. I thought I told him this was a total secret. I did. I think I did. I wish Stan was here, pen pal. But so no one's come in yet. No ships have landed at the space station yet. But my friend was like, everyone in the whole bar knows, and they know. I don't know, all the nuns are acting crazy, and my friend, acting over the top, because no one at the bar knows that they're not drinking alcohol. But they do know we're there to celebrate some huge news, and my friend has this huge button. They said, oh, I got this, and when you press it, that'll, and then I said, what, I got to go to the bathroom. And I glared at him. And then he shrugged and laughed. And then my gut went off. And they said, this is why we don't, the worlds, we're not supposed to mix. I don't know. I don't have business or pleasure in my life, pen pal, but things I can tolerate personally and things I can tolerate in a strange work environment. I guess this is a work environment with these nuns. Now I'm about to get paid, but I don't want, I'm giving the money away. But also, hold on, somebody's knocking. I'll be back, pen pal. Hey, pen pal, I'm going to walk up to them so you could just, yeah, hey, Headball. Oh, yeah, hey, sisters. Oh, you had a vote about me. Really, you're all laughing and giggling. You're really great actors and actresses. Oh, you're not acting anymore. That you're all stuck with me. You were stuck with me as a roommate, Oddball? Well, for 3 years. It wasn't the way you singing stuck on you. That's hilarious. All of you together. Sisters, you sound great. So you're all stuck with me, huh? Narcissist. Yeah, I guess I am a narcissist. Oddball, do you really need to just, you don't need to the whole bar serenading me. Terrific. Just awesome. Thanks, everybody. Yep, and just here, yeah, everybody's stuck with me. That's a dream come true, though, oddball, because you weren't stuck with me year 2 or year 3, unless, I'm imagining things. Oh, now you're hugging me. Stuck is a good. It's a mixed. You don't know why you love me, but you do. Well, thanks, oddball. Oh, it's time for the big announcement. Well, hey, do you just need to? Well, I'll just give you I could get that later, so that'll delay. I guess the announcement's delayed. Everybody, sorry about that. What announcement, sister? Thanks. No one's come in. Has anyone seen it? When I was in the bathroom, no one else came into the pub here. Another round for you and your friends. Thanks, oddball. Oh, great. So, yeah, everyone get another drink, and what are we here to celebrate? Well, why do you have that big button? Is it ordinal or ordinal, right? Yeah, I remember seeing it on the form, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I got placed with someone named Ordinal. Oh, the sisters laughed at that one, oddball. I know I'm odder than you. You're the most normal person ever, Ordinal. Oh, that's the first time Ordinal. Ordinal. It's like almost like an A, Ordinal. Oh, I'm buying time. Why am I nervously buying time? Well, I wasn't planning on making any big announcements. Like we're just waiting to see if anybody else lands here. 1 second, I just need to check in with the ship. Okay, excuse me, Stan. Can you hear? Have you been monitoring this channel? Scooter, I have. Are you okay? Any? Can you? Have you been able to use the optics to see if the ship's approaching? Scooter, it is. It's working its way slowly here. Okay, do you have eyes on it now? Scooter, I don't. It made it's going around, it has to go through a landing pattern. Okay, so you're not, Scooter, I'm just a little concerned you're going to have a thing or something. Okay, well, yeah, I'm here to thanks, Stan. Who's Stan? Is that, thanks, Adnal. Stan, don't ever give Adnal soda, please. Scooter, I consider that an order. Okay, so what was the announcement? Funniest thing, sisters. I don't want to distract you with the good news because we're waiting to make, to see what's going to happen here with our guest, that's incoming guest. But I don't know if you remember that asteroid belt I keep harping on about. So you probably do, but the asteroid belt happened to be filled with those asteroids. Did you happen to run any scans on them or anyone? I think the feeling on board was like, who cares? And I was like, it's asteroids in space. This is remember? You do. Well, it turns out those asteroids were extremely valuable, and they're made of whatever that stuff is that. Whatever, and that element, it's written down. Adnal knows. Why does he know? Well, he's supposed to sell them before we got here. Oh, because I checked with the computer that there's no claim laid to those asteroids, and they're in a, free zone, so anybody could claim them. I mean, they're in the distant gravity of that sun, which has no, anyway, they're free for anybody to claim that happened on them in space, which we did as a team. So don't worry, everything's above board here. And because of my curiosity and my, sleuth-like nose, that's a good one. I don't think my nose is like a sleuth. Swoop-like nose. Thank you, sister. Yep, I do have a large nose. Thank you. Because of my nose, you're going to be incredibly wealthy, sisters. And not only that, remember, well, you could clearly know that the material that Gartok's device was made from, that's the same element. And we're talking about so much money that you're going to be able to contract out ships and scientists to build a tracking device. So, if we can't find, and I'm happy to stick on board for, a little while you do the hiring and stuff. But you'll be able to hire a whole team of ships, and or you could give up your quest. I don't know what kind of stuff happens with this kind of massive wealth I'm about to drop on you. Because I was massively wealthy after the first 10 trips through the cloud. And believe me, I'm not giving mine to charity. I'm giving it to a specific thing on Earth to fix some other stuff to fix some stuff. Also to pay for a birthday party for somebody that doesn't like birthday parties and desserts. You like birthdays, just not. And anyway, so great news. That's the great news is we're going to file a claim. You just got I thought I transferred the location data, but it's in a chip within Stan, so that's saved somewhere where I couldn't lose it. So sisters, you seem pretty shocked. Congratulations. The auction pricing, Oddball looked it all up, and oh yes, sister, it brings up the question of why are we being followed, and if it was related to the asteroid belts. I don't know. I think they were already following us, and that's just when we became aware of it, because if they had found the asteroids and it wasn't to do with us, they would already filed a claim. They'd have to come here to file a claim. Is that right? Oddball, it is right. Okay, well, but they're not here. And they can't, they're not going to file a claim first, right? If they wanted to do that, they could have just flown past us or something. So they were probably watching us for some other reason or something. That's why we're trying to catch them. Anyway, Stan, can you hear me? Okay, Stan's not answering, sisters. Probably because maybe I am getting a little paranoid. Maybe we should go back. Pen pal, I'll be right back. Oh boy, pen pal, you better believe I won't be listening to this recording, because you probably heard it 5 or 10 minutes before I did. Yeah, whoever was spying on us, they stole the chip with the asteroid thing from Stan. And then Stan said they also downloaded all Stan's, they just duped a bunch of Stan's memory or something in the computer. They stole other stuff too, pen pal. The weird thing is they didn't file a claim. So that's good in that Stan has the information, but now my friend is now Oddball's all bent because he had spent some of the money, so he's very mad. And the sisters, of course, are upset, and so right now, we're flying back to. Hold on, pen pal. Hey, pen pal, it does get worse. So, asteroids are gone. It's not even possible. It's right. Is what I was thinking. And so, if anybody was more going to be irritated, and staying on the ship's computer positive, and even my gut is saying, yeah, this is where the asteroids were. I could still sense a little delusion here. And I said, geez, are you sure you didn't sell us out to like my friend? And they said, no. I said, and then so I had to, of course, transfer some funds to my friend. And I don't think we're going to be friends after the amount of money I had to transfer. I said, you bought what? So that's not good. And except for one thing, pen pal, I can send the asteroids. The reason I know they're gone is because I can sense them. Kind of. And so, of course, my trust in, once again, the crew's trust in me is shaken. But they don't really have a choice. Kind of like the song they were singing. I said, well, I guess you're stuck on me. You're stuck with me. We're on our way. Mighty glad you frowned. But so that is like the one piece of decent news is that pretty sure the asteroids got moved by something incredibly powerful. And I mean, I'll tell you what I think. I think Gartok, I tell you what, this is Scott Gartok or whoever Gartok's secret cabals are. Whatever, we'll link to this. So now I guess, Pen Pal, you got to remember to encrypt this and download this message. This part, the middle parts, I think we're already on Stan's memory banks. We're going to follow this path. And I said, why else would they download stuff from Stan in the ship's computer? And then they said, why do you... And they said, how is this my fault? And they said, well, why couldn't you just told us about the asteroid belt in the first place? And I said, because it would be, he said, well, I was consumed with fear of you meeting my friend before the asteroid belt. Because I said, anyway, not important, Pen Pal. Don't be consumed with fear. That's the secret of this episode. Also, now this whoever stole that is listening to my other messages to you. So that'll be their problem, not mine. You know, I can't tell. You know, they'll get a sense of my adventure. They'll know what they're dealing with, Pen Pal, just like you do. Thanks for listening. I want to say some thank yous over on Facebook. Anthony V, Nuggin, Marissa D, thank you. Sleep Phones, thank you. Tyler D, thank you. Chrysanthi, thank you. Emily Ray and Ripley, thank you. And good night. Ken N and Muskie, good night. Thanks. Melissa B and Oxytocin. Sending the oxytocin our way. Thank you. Mark S. Thank you. And good night, Barbara M. Thank you. And good night, Jennifer R. Thanks. And good night, Angelina. Thank you. And good night. And Lynn H. Thanks. And good night. Mandy G. Thanks. And good night. Andy A. Thanks. And good night. Aaliyah. Thanks. And good night. Laura B to the SCR, thanks. Jennifer G, thanks. Vibrata, thanks. Nicole K, thanks. Heidi L, thanks. Kirsten A, thanks. Sam B, thanks. Melanie P, thanks. Lida S, thanks. Sally S, thanks. Bonnie Baroness, thanks. Michael N, thank you, and good night. Renee W, thanks, and good night. Robin L to the B, thank you, and good night. Allison T, thank you, and good night. Gaynor, thanks, and good night. Marie V to the HCS, thanks, and good night. Donna M, thanks, and good night. Laura B to the SCR, thanks, and good night. Danielle V, thanks and good night. Mandy M, thanks and good night. Eric T and ADHD Rewired, thanks and good night. Lisa H, thanks and good night. Mary C, thanks and good night. Emily H to the M, thanks and good night. Ingrid D, thanks and good night. Ramble R, thanks and good night. Chantel, thanks and good night. Lisa, thanks and good night. Katie O, thanks and good night. Jillian S, thanks and good night. Mike B, thanks and good night. Lisa F, thank you and good night. Nancy C, thanks and good night. Trish L, thanks and good night. Jennifer B, thanks and good night. Julie F, thanks and good night. Lauren S to the M, thanks and good night. Leonie D, thanks and good night. Sherry S, thanks and good night. Nora N, thanks and good night. Teresa D to the A, M to the A, thanks and good night. Stacy P to the M, thanks and good night. Katie M, thank you and good night. Jonathan M, thank you and good night. Yana H, thanks and good night. Christina F, thanks and good night. Chad R to the F to the C, thanks and good night. Ellen A to the G, thanks and good night. Kaylee E to the C, thanks and good night. Margaret T, thanks and good night. Mariah R, thank you and good night. Blake F, thanks and good night, our buddy Blake F, our intern. Chris R, thanks and good night. Andrew B, thank you and good night. Annie A, thanks and good night. Mary Ann G, thanks and good night. Roberto S, thanks and good night. Anna B, thanks and good night. Justin D to the G, thanks and good night. Lori S, thanks and good night. Classic Denny C, thanks and good night. Carlos R to the M, thanks and good night. Daniel R, thanks and good night. Mary M, thanks and good night. Nicole E, thank you and good night. And that's it. Thanks and good night, everybody.